If I were to ask you who the all-time passing yards leader in NFL history in the next 10 to 12 years would be, you would probably guess names like Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, even Drew Brees, who should break the all-time record this year, Tom Brady, maybe Eli Manning, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, names like that. You would not think it's a name that's actually the answer for this list. Now, this quarterback is 30 years old. He's been around for quite a while now. He's played all 16 games for I think the last 6 or 7 years, and I think he's a very underrated quarterback, which is why this answer may be surprising to a lot of people. Now, before I jump into the answer, it's worth noting that Drew Brees, who of course is still active, is just over 1,000 yards away from passing Peyton Manning for the all-time passing yards leader in NFL history. Peyton Manning has 71,940, while Drew Brees has 70,445, which would lead you to believe, barring injury, that Drew Brees will in fact pass Peyton Manning for the all-time lead in passing yards. But Drew Brees probably has 2 or 3 years left, so I would assume that he retires somewhere between 78,000 and 80,000 passing yards for his career. So the answer to this question, if you guessed it correctly, then props to you, because it's not the easiest thing to answer. The answer is Detroit Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford. Now, he has thrown for an average of 3,861 yards in his career. As I said, he's played 16 games since 2011. He had a 3-game season in 2010. He's consistently been over 4,200 yards for, I would say, the last 4 years or so. Matt Stafford, as I said, definitely one of the more underrated quarterbacks in football. I don't even think he's won a playoff game either, but you know what? The team around him has never been that good, whether it's the running game or the defense. So, Matthew Stafford one day being the all-time passing leader might be a little weird to some people, but it's something that's definitely, I would say, in reach of getting, and I'll show a chart later of how he can get it, and it's really not that far-fetched. So Stafford for his career is just under 35,000 passing yards. He's still only 30 years old. He'll be 30 entering this season. You would think, barring injury, that he'll be in the league for another 10 years or so. And we see quarterbacks now play till the age of 40. Tom Brady's 41, 42, still playing. It's obviously very hard to predict the future, but if Matt Stafford continues to play at a high level, then I don't see why he wouldn't be in the NFL still. And especially trying to chase this record now. To see a guy like Matthew Stafford ahead of these names like Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Dan Marino, John Elway, all these kind of guys, it would be really shocking, but I mean, it just tells you the kind of player he is and how overlooked he is. As I said, I really think he's underappreciated, and we'll go into that chart of what he needs to do to break the all-time record. Since only playing 3 games in 2010, where his season was cut short, Matt Stafford's lowest passing yards in a season has been 4,257. So you can see based off this chart, I'm really lowballing him by only adding 4,200 for every season, but I'm just trying to be as realistic as possible. So it just shows you how much Stafford can blow this record out of the water if he really continues to play at this level. Now, if you recall, the all-time record right now is just under 72,000. And if this chart goes as accordingly, he should retire at the age of 40 with 80,949 passing yards. Now, unfortunately for Stafford, of course, Drew Brees is still playing in New Orleans at a very high level. Didn't have his best statistical season last year, but his team had a great year. We expect Drew Brees to regress positively this year, throw for more touchdowns and more yards. So we'll see what he does, but I expect Brees to play for another 2 or 3 years. I would guess 2. It seemed like he was kind of on the fence this year about coming back, but he did get his new contract. So basically, Stafford, I mean, if he puts up, even this year, like 4,600 yards and just continues to play at that kind of level and then plays all the way till he's 40, there can be a scenario where he has somewhere around 8,000 or 85,000 passing yards for his career and definitely end up beating Drew Brees if he retires at a reasonable age. So it's really exciting for Stafford and to see what unfolds for the next decade, and think he's only 30 years old. He's been in the league for a long time now. I think he's been in the league since 2009, 2008 maybe. So, it was shocking to see how close he is to potentially getting this record, and although it's a long time away, I mean, it's just definitely a possibility. So that will do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed stuff like this where I go over possible records that could be broken or stuff you wouldn't expect in the sports, I would definitely continue to do this, so leave it in the comments if you enjoyed this. Of course, leave a like. For the Giants fans out there, I will be doing a season preview video coming out hopefully in the next week. Preseason game 3 is over, and we pretty much know a lot about what's going on. Odell just signed his new extension I just saw, so that's great news, and I'll come out with that soon. So thanks for watching, guys.